Alex was a young human engineer. He worked for the Earth Space Alliance. His job was to travel to new planets and learn about alien cultures. This time, his team landed on a strange but beautiful world called Elira. Elira was covered with tall, blue trees and glowing rivers. It was a world full of life and mystery. The Elirans were tall, graceful aliens. Their skin was pale with soft light that seemed to come from inside them. They lived in a great city, made of crystal towers and floating bridges. At the center of the city stood the palace of the alien queen. She was the ruler of Elira and all its people. Her name was Lysara. Lysara was famous across many star systems. She was wise and strong, but also kind. Her eyes shone like stars, and her voice was soft but powerful. She wore a crown made of rare crystals that glowed faintly. People called her the Light of Elira. On the day Alex arrived at the palace, there was a great celebration. Elira welcomed the humans as new friends. Bright colors filled the streets, and music played everywhere. Elirans danced with joy, and their voices sang songs of peace. Alex felt nervous but excited. He had never been so close to an alien queen before. The humans and Elirans stood together in the great hall. Lysara appeared on a high balcony. She looked at the crowd with a calm smile. Suddenly, the sky darkened. A loud noise came from the palace's power core. The machine that gave energy to the city began to fail. Sparks flew and smoke rose in the air. The people panicked. If the power stopped, the city could fall into chaos. Alex saw the danger. Without thinking, he ran toward the control room. The Eliran guards tried to stop him, but Lysara raised her hand. "Let him go," she said. "He is human, but his heart is brave." Inside the control room, Alex saw the problem. A part of the machine had broken. He knew it was a rare type of energy crystal, but he had studied these in Earth labs. Quickly, he took a small tool from his bag. With steady hands, he fixed the broken part. The machine hummed back to life. The power returned to the city. Outside, the crowd cheered. Lysara smiled at Alex with new respect. She walked down the stairs and stood before him. "You saved Elira," she said softly. "You are more than a guest here. You are a hero." Alex felt shy. He looked at Lysara's shining eyes and said quietly, "I wish I could marry her." It was a small, hopeful whisper, meant only for himself. For a moment, no one moved. Then Lysara turned slowly. She looked straight at Alex. Her eyes held a warmth that surprised everyone. "My answer is yes," she said. The hall grew silent. People stared in shock. The alien queen had just accepted a human's wish. Alex could not believe his ears. He felt his heart beat fast. The queen's words were like a dream, but they were real. The Eliran nobles whispered among themselves. Some looked worried, others curious. This was not just a simple promise. It was a new beginning. Lysara stepped closer to Alex. "Come with me," she said. "There is much for you to learn, and many who will not understand." Alex nodded. He followed her through the palace doors. The future was unknown, but his courage was strong. Together, they walked into the light of the great hall. The stars outside shone brighter than ever, as if the universe itself was watching their story begin. If you want, I can continue with part 2 or make any changes. After the great hall fell silent, Alex found himself standing in the palace's inner chambers. The alien Queen Lysara led him through long corridors made of shining crystal. The walls glowed softly, lighting their path. Outside, the Eliran city hummed peacefully again. But inside, Alex knew his life was about to change forever. Lysara stopped at a large door. She turned to Alex and said, "You have made a bold wish. Now you must understand what it means." Alex nodded, feeling both nervous and curious. "I want to learn," he said simply. The door opened, revealing a grand room filled with books, holograms, and strange objects. Lysara sat on a throne of crystal. She gestured for Alex to sit nearby. "Our people have lived for thousands of years," she began. "We follow ancient traditions. Marriage is more than love here. It is a bond that connects families, clans, and the future of our world." Alex listened carefully. He had read about alien cultures before, but nothing like this. For Ellerans, marriage was a sacred duty. It united not just two individuals, but entire societies. "You must meet the Council of Elders," Lysara said. "They will decide if your wish is possible." Alex's heart beat faster. He had hoped the Queen's words meant yes, but now he realized the road ahead was difficult. The next day, Alex was taken to a large hall filled with Illyran leaders. They were tall and regal, wearing robes of blue and silver. Their eyes studied Alex with quiet judgment. The elders spoke slowly. "Human, you are brave to love our queen," said one. "But our laws are strict. No one outside Illyra has ever married our ruler." Another elder added, "This union could change everything. It could bring peace or bring war." Alex spoke honestly. "I do not want to break your laws. I want to understand your people and live by your rules. I want to show you that humans and Ellerans can be friends, more than friends." The elders looked thoughtful. One asked, "Do your people have strong bonds of loyalty? Will you honor our queen and her people as your own?" Alex replied, "Yes. On Earth we value loyalty and respect. I will do my best." The elders nodded, slowly. They gave Alex a list of challenges. These were tests to prove his heart and mind were worthy. The first test was a trial of knowledge. Alex had to learn about Illyran history, language, and customs. He spent many hours studying. The Illyran scholars helped him, impressed by his quick learning. The second test was a trial of honor. Alex was invited to a ceremony where he had to show respect to the Queen's ancestors. He bowed carefully and spoke words he had memorized, honoring their legacy. The third test was a trial of courage. Alex had to face a dangerous task, exploring a deep cave sacred to the Ellerans. The cave was filled with glowing crystals and strange creatures. Alex was scared, but he remembered Lysara's faith in him. Inside the cave, Alex found a rare flower that only grew in the darkness. It was a symbol of hope and strength to the Ellerans. He carefully picked the flower and returned safely. When Alex gave the flower to Lysara, her eyes shone with pride. "You face challenges not only for me, but for all Illyrans. This is the path of unity." But not all were happy. Some nobles whispered against Alex. They said a human could never understand their ways. They feared change and wanted the queen to marry a pure Elleran. One noble named Vorin openly opposed the union. He said, "This is not tradition. It will weaken our people." Lysara faced Vorin calmly. "Change is hard, but it can bring new strength. I choose love and hope." Alex saw how strong Lysara was. He admired her even more. He also knew that winning hearts was as important as passing tests. So Alex worked harder. He helped Illyran. Scientists repair broken machines. He shared stories of Earth's history and struggles. Slowly, some who once doubted him began to smile and listen. One day, Lysara and Alex walked in the palace gardens. The blue trees swayed gently in the wind. The light from the crystals made the place magical. Alex turned to Lysara and said, "I never thought I could be part of this world. But you give me courage." Lysara smiled. "You are more than a guest. You are part of Illyra now." Alex felt hope grow inside him. He knew the road was still long, but with Lysara by his side, he believed their bond could change not just two worlds, but many. Days passed on Illyra, and Alex felt the weight of the coming trials. The queen's enemies had started to show their true faces. Some nobles whispered behind closed doors, plotting to break the promise Lysara made to Alex. They believed a human should never marry their queen. Their fear was strong, and so was their hatred. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the glowing blue trees, Alex was called to a private chamber. Lysara was waiting, her eyes serious but full of trust. "Alex," she said quietly, "you must know, these trials will test not only your strength, but also your loyalty. Some want to use your presence to divide my people. They fear change, but I believe in you." Alex nodded. "I will do everything I can." The first test was a challenge of courage. A group of rebels had taken control of an ancient Illyrian fortress outside the city. The fortress was filled with old technology and powerful weapons. The rebels planned to use these weapons to overthrow Lysara's rule. Lysara asked Alex to lead a small team to take back the fortress. It was dangerous, but it was also a chance to show his true loyalty. Alex gathered his team. They were a mix of humans and Ellarians, all ready to fight for peace. The fortress was dark and full of traps. Alex moved carefully, using both his engineering, skills, and quick thinking. At one point, they faced a locked door with a complex mechanism. Alex worked fast, using tools he had brought from Earth. The door opened and the team pushed forward. Inside, the rebels waited. A fierce battle began. Alex fought bravely, not just with weapons but with strategy. He helped his team avoid traps and find weak points in the enemy defenses. After hours of struggle, they won. The rebels surrendered. Alex had saved the fortress and protected the city. When he returned, the people cheered. Even some nobles who once doubted him began to respect his courage. But the tests were not over. The second trial was one of wisdom. A strange illness had begun to spread in Illyra's outer villages. The illness weakened the Illyrians and threatened many lives. Alex was asked to help find a cure. He worked with the Illyrian scientists, sharing human medical knowledge and learning about alien biology. Together, they discovered the illness was caused by a rare toxin from a local plant. Alex designed a simple device to filter the toxin from the water. The cure worked. The villages healed. The people praised Alex's kindness and skill. Lysara was proud. "You save not only with strength, but also with heart." The final test was the hardest. An alien fleet from a nearby star system had sent a warning to Illyra. They demanded the queen stop her plans to marry a human, or they would declare war. The threat was real. The Illyrians were strong, but a war would bring great pain. Alex stood beside Lysara as she prepared to speak to the alien fleet. The queen's voice was calm and strong. "We seek peace," she said, "and unity between all beings. This marriage is a symbol of that hope. We will not be divided by fear." The alien fleet paused. Alex and Lysara waited in silence. Then the alien leader responded, "Your courage and honesty are unusual. We will not attack, but we watch closely." Alex felt relief, but also knew the future held many challenges. Back in the palace, Lysara turned to Alex. "You have shown great loyalty and strength, but remember, trust is built slowly. You must continue to prove your heart." Alex smiled. "I will never give up." Their bond grew stronger with every challenge. The queen and her human wished to build a future together despite the fears and doubts of many. Alex knew this was only the beginning, but he believed love and trust could change the galaxy. The days on Illyra passed with new hope and new challenges. Alex and Queen Lysara were growing closer with each passing moment. Their bond was not only built on words, but on shared experiences and trust. Alex woke each day excited to learn more about Illyrian life. He spent hours in the palace gardens, where blue trees whispered in the wind and soft light bathed everything. The gardens were a favorite place of the queen. Here she showed him how her people lived in harmony with nature. Lysara was patient and gentle as she explained the customs of her people. She told Alex about the sacred rites, the history of Elira, and the responsibilities she bore as their queen. "Leadership is not easy," she said one evening as they watched twin moons rise. "I carry the hopes of my people on my shoulders." Alex listened with respect. On Earth, leaders also face many burdens, he said, but they are stronger when they have friends and partners. Their friendship deepened into something more. Alex saw Lysara's moments of doubt and loneliness. He promised to stand by her side no matter what. Lysara found comfort in Alex's honest heart and steady courage. Together, they planned the ceremony that would join their worlds. It would be a great celebration, mixing Eliran traditions with human customs. The people of Elira were curious and hopeful. Many wanted to see the future this union could bring, but not everyone was happy. Vorin, the noble who once opposed Alex, still whispered his doubts. "A human cannot understand our people," he said to those who would listen. "This marriage will weaken the queen's power." Lysara faced him with quiet strength. "Power is not from birth alone. It comes from love and courage. I trust Alex, and I trust my people." Alex knew winning over everyone would take time. He met with different nobles and citizens, listening to their fears and hopes. He shared stories of Earth, where many cultures lived together in peace. Slowly, some hearts began to change. Elirans saw that Alex respected their ways and loved their queen deeply. The bond between the two worlds grew stronger. One day, as they walked through the city, Alex and Lysara met children playing under the glowing trees. The children laughed and ran to them. Alex knelt and shared stories of Earth's oceans and mountains. Lysara smiled as the children's eyes shone with wonder. "I want them to live in a world where love crosses all stars," Alex said softly. Lysara took his hand. "Together, we will make that world." But the future was still uncertain. The rebel nobles waited for a chance to strike. A festival was planned to celebrate the upcoming union. It was a chance to show unity, but also a chance for enemies to act. Alex and Lysara prepared carefully. Guards were placed around the palace. Secret plans were made to protect the peace. On the night of the festival, Elira shone like a jewel in the galaxy. Lights danced on the crystal towers. Music filled the air. Aliens from many worlds had come to watch history unfold. Alex stood beside Lysara on the grand balcony. He felt the weight of the moment. This was more than a wedding. It was a promise to all beings that love could overcome fear. As the ceremony began, a shadow moved in the crowd. Vorin and his followers made their move. They shouted words of rebellion, trying to break the peace, but the crowd did not fall into chaos. Many stood with Lysara and Alex. The rebels were surrounded and peacefully stopped by the guards. Lysara raised her voice. "We choose peace. We choose unity. Let love be stronger than fear." The crowd cheered. The festival continued with joy and hope. Alex looked at Lysara, his heart full. He knew their journey was just beginning, but together, they could face anything. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if the whole universe celebrated the love that was growing stronger on Elira. The weeks after the festival were filled with both hope and tension. Alex and Queen Lysara worked hard to keep peace in Elira. But the rebels who opposed their union had not given up. Their leader, Vorin, grew more determined. He believed the Queen's marriage to a human was a threat to Eliran traditions and power. One morning, Lysara received a message from the rebels. They demanded she cancel the marriage, or they would start a rebellion. The queen's advisors urged caution. The Tatar Situation was dangerous. Lysera called a meeting with Alex and her closest council members. "We cannot let fear control us," she said firmly. "This marriage is not only about us. It is about the future of Elira and all the stars." Alex nodded. "I will stand with you. We will face this together." The rebels' threat was real. Soon, small groups began to gather outside the city. The people of Elira were divided. Some supported the queen and her human partner. Others feared change and followed Vorin. Lysara made a bold decision. She offered to speak directly with Vorin and his followers. She hoped words could bring peace before violence started. Alex went with her. The meeting took place in an ancient hall where the light from crystal chandeliers sparkled on the walls. Vorin stood with a group of angry nobles. "This marriage is a betrayal," he said. "Our people will never accept it." Lysara looked at him calmly. "Change is never easy. But I believe in the strength of my people. I believe in love." Alex stepped forward. "I come from a world where different people live together in peace. I want to learn from Elira and share what I know. We can build a future together." Vorin's eyes narrowed. He was not ready to give up, but some nobles around him looked uncertain. The talks continued for hours. Words were exchanged and old wounds were opened. But slowly, the anger began to soften. Alex shared stories of Earth's history, how people once fought, but learned to respect each other. Lysara spoke of her dreams for Elira, where everyone could live without fear. In the end, Vorin agreed to a compromise. The marriage would continue, but there would be new councils formed to include all voices in Elira's future. The rebels left peacefully, and hope returned to the city. After the meeting, Lysara thanked Alex. "You showed great wisdom and courage today. You are more than a partner. You are a leader." Alex smiled. "I will always stand by you." The wedding day came. Elira was decorated with colors from both Earth and Elira. The people gathered in the great hall. The air was filled with music and joy. Lysara and Alex stood before their people. They spoke words of love and promise. Their hands joined, their hearts united. The crowd cheered. The union was not just of two souls, but of two worlds. From that day, Alex and Lysara led together. They worked to build a future where differences were celebrated and peace was strong. The stars above Elira seemed to shine with new light, a light born from courage, love, and hope. The day of the wedding dawned bright and clear on Elira. The sky was a soft shade of violet, and the twin moons cast a gentle glow over the crystal city. Everywhere, people gathered to witness a moment they knew would change history. Alex stood beside Queen Lysara in the grand hall. His heart beat with a mix of excitement and calm. He looked around at the crowd, Elirans from all walks of life, humans from the Earth-Space Alliance, and guests from many distant worlds. All eyes were on them. The ceremony was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It combined the deep traditions of Elira with the simple, honest customs of Earth. The music was soft, blending alien instruments with Earth songs. The light from the crystals shimmered, creating colors that danced across the faces of the people. Lysara wore a gown that sparkled like the night sky. Her eyes shone with pride and love. When she looked at Alex, he felt a warmth that spread through his whole being. The elder who led the ceremony spoke words that echoed in the hall. He spoke of unity, courage, and the power of love to change worlds. He said, "Today we witness not just a marriage, but the joining of two peoples. May their bond inspire peace across the stars." Alex and Lysara exchanged vows. They promised to stand by each other, to lead with kindness and strength, and to protect the future of their worlds together. When they placed their hands together, a soft light surrounded them. It was a symbol of their bond. a promise written in the very energy of Alira. After the ceremony, the celebration was filled with joy. People danced, laughed, and shared stories. New friendships were made between humans and Alirans. Children played under the glowing trees, dreaming of a bright future. Alex and Lysara moved through the crowd, greeting their people. Everywhere they went, they saw hope in the eyes of those around them. Later, standing on a balcony high above, the city. Alex looked out at the stars. He turned to Lysara and said, "I never imagined my simple wish would lead to this." Lysara smiled. "Neither did I. But love is stronger than we think." Together they watched the stars shine bright. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but they faced it as one. Their story became a legend, a tale of courage, trust, and the power of love to unite even the most different of beings. And as the new dawn rose over Elira, the future looked brighter than ever. If you want, I can help with anything else like editing, expanding, or even turning this story into a longer,